That's a lot of books. Yeah, I think I really outdid myself this month on the manga side of things. But I got a good excuse. Hello everyone and welcome to Anything Geek. My name is Zero and this is the time of the month where I'll show you all the cool stuff that I bought this last month. And as you can see, it's mainly manga oriented. So how about we start a bit soft with the first manga from this pile. It's actually the 10th volume of Spy Family, and it's kind of a weird flex because last month I bought the 11th volume of Spy Family. That was the collector's edition, but we didn't have the 10th volume yet, so yeah, we had to pick it up. Of course, we've since finished watching the anime versions and it was very cool and very nice to watch. So while we're waiting for the next season, I think I'm gonna give this a good read. Also, continuation from last month, we've actually picked the second volume from Yu Yu Hakusho. I was explaining back in January, I think, that we were watching the live action from Netflix of Yu Yu Hakusho, and it was actually kind of a good adaptation. At least in my view. People can totally disagree on this, and I was thinking that up until the end of the season where they kind of did something weird. So yeah, I don't know where to stand with the live action. I don't know if it's over or if they plan a second season and to keep on with the story, but as live adaptation tends to do, it was kind of weird. Anyway, the manga is great, I know that, so I'm gonna keep up with that collection. And the next manga that we have is Love Dilemma, the 13th volume. And it could be argued that this is for the most cultured people out there. I really liked the anime also because it had like so much polish to it and it was very cool, and the opening was a total banger to me. And so that is the reason why we started to pick up the manga, because it was just so good, at least for me. Not everybody agree on that, but it's definitely a very sweet story and I really like how this is going. Also doesn't hurt when there's a bit of fan service, but only when it helps drives the plot instead of just overpowering it. Next is also gonna be something plot heavy. It's gonna be Sexy Cosplay Dolls. We've picked up the 6th and 7th volume. We're on our way really good with this one to get all the volumes. We're already caught up with the anime, so this is just pure bonus to get a bit ahead of the next season. And of course I joke about the plot in this, but it's actually a bit more sweet than Love Dilemma, because Love Dilemma has a bit more plot, but it's still a very sweet read when you want some cute romance. And the cute romance is gonna keep up with Kaguya-sama. We have the 5th and 6th volume, so we're also on the way to keep this up because we're all out of the anime and the movie. And I will say the advantage of Kaguya-sama over something like Sexy Cosplay Doll is that this has a more what the fuck element to it with some of the bits that they're doing, because Chika is always like such a wild card in the story. So even though it is romance oriented, it's still like a ton of fun from time to time. Ooh, getting a bit more serious now because we have Eco's Tome 11. Now this is more for my wife. She picked the manga up a while ago and she has been diligently reading the volumes every time a new volume is out. I haven't yet, but I heard the story in this is pretty gripping, so I might give this a read in the coming months. I don't really know if I made the right choice or not, but I've started the My Hero Academia manga. Of course, we're up to date with the anime as always, but this actually, there was a promotion at my local store, and I'm gonna try to put it on screen here, just there. And that promotion was that if you buy 2 Kiyun books from any manga on that collection, you get some medals. And of course, being the geeky collector that I am, I immediately went and bought 2 Kiyun books, which was Eco's and My Hero Academia. And so I got with my purchase the very first medal of the collection. That's the My Hero Academia one. Don't know if the camera is going to focus, but you can see it's pretty cool, and you get Deku here at the back. I tried to put all the medals right there for you to enjoy a bit. And so yeah, I started My Hero Academia. Maybe not the best choice I would have gone with, because we just finished Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3. and that has left me pretty thirsty. But I mean, if it was like My Hero Academia or Jujutsu Kaisen, either one of those, there's already like a truckload of volume for both, so that wouldn't have changed that much. And the last manga that I bought, finally we're done with books, although not quite so much, is actually a Sekiro manga about Anbei the Immortal. Now, I didn't know this was a thing, and when I was in the shop and I saw this, I immediately reached for it in the shelves. Because Sekiro is actually one of the best games that I've ever played, and I platinumed the heck out of that game. I love that game front to back. It's one of the best games ever, really. The gameplay is just like so damn good, and I will fight anybody who says otherwise. You think the game is too hard? I think it's too easy, mate. You don't know easy, you don't know hard. You need to get your anyway, love the game, so of course when I saw this on the shelves, I needed to buy this. Because like I said, not only the game itself was very fun and very cool, but the story that they've actually told with that game is also very nicely done. So definitely Sekiro, 10 out of 10. Would play again, would read again. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. Let's do that. That's a huge box. It's actually a book nook with a Sakura theme designed here. You can see you have like a sort of a little shop, which is Japan themed, and this is actually my wife's Valentine's Day gift. This is from the same store where I just bought all my mangas, and we saw this at one time we were there, and of course, being the bookworm that she is, she loves books. And let me just rest this on the desk because it's kind of heavy. And so being the bookworm that she is, that was already something that I've considered gifting to her. So we saw some that was there, and it was like, oh yeah, if you're looking for something to gift me, well, I already thought of that, obviously. And so since they had this very cute Falling Sakura themed book nook, I thought, let's buy this for her first one. Apparently it has a touch light, so you can like turn it on and off with some LEDs and stuff like that. She has yet to build it, but it's a work in progress. Now, in return for Valentine's Day, I had this very cool Dragon Ball hoodie with the logo in the back. I don't know if you guys see this. Maybe, like... Finding clothes for me is very hard, so finding this was very hard for her to do. And I also got this very cool book here, The Art of War and Other Classics from the Eastern Philosophy. So you have multiple stories actually. You have The Art of War, you have the Tao Te Ching, you have Confucian's Analect, The Great Learning, The Doctrine of the Man, and the Work of Mencius. And that book is actually very pretty, very cool. You got the leather jacket here. It's kind of embossed as well. And that was a book that I was considered picking, so she actually went for something that was on one of my wish lists. But of course, the only thing that is better than a good book is when you have a very cool copy of that. Kind of closing out to the end, but before we do that, if this video is at the very least entertaining to you, consider leaving a like or subscribing to the channel. We talk about anything geek, ranging from games, video games, animes, mangas, books, and all that good stuff. So if that's your jam, you're in the right place. Also, I turned on membership for the channel, so if that's something that's of interest to you, go check them out. And the more the merrier, so make sure to share this channel and this video with your friends. Let's look at the last two pieces of what I bought last month. And we're gonna start with the video game, which is Final Fantasy Crisis Core Reunion. I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII, and for so long I wanted to play the game for my wife so she can backseat the game, and it was not at all possible. And then they went and announced officially the remake for Final Fantasy VII. And I was over the moon. I was finally gonna be able to make her experience the story of Final Fantasy VII. Because the original, it's not a visual thing, really. It's more of a text thing, because there was no voiceover back in the day. So it is a long game with a lot of text, and just sitting there reading this when half of the time I'm gonna be in battles or trying to farm or something, it's not gonna be very, very interesting to her. So when they announced the official remake, that was like so cool. And then we played that remake and it was so really bad. Look, you gotta understand that they are changing the scenario for the remake. They're not retelling the story of Final Fantasy VII, they are telling a different story. They are effectively remaking Final Fantasy VII with a new story. A new story that is trying to branch out from the original story, and that's fine. That for someone like me, I can totally play the new games and have a good time because I know the original and I can like see, oh okay, they went with that. But anybody who hasn't played the original Final Fantasy VII, the scenario is not gonna make that much sense. And that's very sad, and that's very unfortunate, especially for me, because the game, the first part of the remake wasn't that good. I promise there's a point to this story because I'm holding Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, but I haven't talked about it already. The original Final Fantasy VII has now mods, and one of those mods is Echo 7. This has voiceover for every text in the game, meaning that we can play the original with voiceover, so she doesn't have to sit there and read a bunch of text all the time. She can just listen to the text and enjoy the game more efficiently when I play it. So we have been able to play Final Fantasy VII, the original, with those mods and some graphic mods also, because, I mean, come on, might as well mod it. And so since this is now a possibility, I can also finally purchase Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, because it's a prequel to the game and we're gonna definitely play this after Final Fantasy VII the original. Because believe it or not, on the PlayStation Portable, I played the heck out of this game. And it's one of those instances, like, you know the end of the scenario, but it still hurts the same. So suffice it to say, I'm very eager to finally crack this open and finally replay this game after Final Fantasy VII the original. And as for Rebirth, well, I'm gonna wait a bit. And finally, the last item of this monthly Geek haul is gonna be something that I've been gifted by a friend 2 days ago. And you might have already guessed that this is a figurine, but you don't know yet what it is, because I put it backward. Oh yeah, it's big brain time. He actually gifted me a figurine, which is... do we see this? Yeah, we see this. It's Shanks and Luffy. That is the iconic moment where Shanks gave the straw hat to Luffy when he was a kid. So, let's unbox this. And here we go. So you got Shanks giving the straw hat to Luffy. Apparently the cape for Shanks is also removable, although I don't see why you would, because then you have just this weird spot on his shoulder. That is a very cool fig. And also, like, when you take off the cape, you can see that Shanks' arm is just, well, missing. Thank you to my friend, of course, for gifting me this. I don't know why he just suddenly gifted me a figurine, but it's still super cool. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. And if you see here, that means the video was at the very least entertaining to you, so please leave a like. Also, check out the new membership for the channel. I just put them up, so just take a look at them. They offer cool perks. And other than that, and it's totally free, you can subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you never miss anything geek. Bye, guys.